So number 2 is from Dr. Nate Zinzer, and that's when I'm uncomfortable, I know I'm about to be at my best. I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but I did a short episode on this a little while ago when Nate came on the podcast about falling in love with your butterflies. Now, a little backstory too, if you didn't listen to the episode, Dr. Nate is a performance psychologist, 30-year plus veteran working at West Point Academy, working with new cadets that are coming into the academy in the military. He's also worked with some of the most high-achieving, high-performing athletes in the world. And his whole focus is about the term confidence. His book, The Confident Mind, is one of the best books I've read over the past year. I've recommended it to many people. I recommend it again. I got a chance to read this book and go over with him on the podcast. And this was a point that we talked about that I thought was so huge, because often when we're in that time when we're feeling really uncomfortable or we're really nervous about something, we think that something's wrong. And he brought up that the same thing in our body happens when we feel both nervous or excited. It's the same chemicals are released, the same stuff biologically is happening within our body. There's no difference. The only difference is the perspective that we have of what it means. And he used the example of Michael Johnson, the former gold medal sprinter, where he said when he was the first man ever, I believe, to win both the 200 and the 400 in the same race. And in the interview, he was talking about, were you nervous about this? It's the races were really close together. And he dropped this line. He's like, no, when I'm uncomfortable and I'm nervous, I know that's when I'm about to be at my best. So it's such an interesting thing of how powerful our perspective and our mind is that when these butterflies pop up and we feel uncomfortable in that moment, yeah, it could be like, if it's different or we're not used to that feeling, it could feel very nerve-wracking. But if you just think, oh, I'm about to be at my best, how quickly your mindset shifts in that is so powerful. And I've used this a lot in my training recently, as well as developing my business. When it starts to feel hard in training and I'm pushing, instead of thinking, how much longer do I have in this session? I've shifted that to think, this is when I'm at my best. Not that many people are doing this right now. It's a small minority of people that are pushing hard right now. This is when I get to be at my best and I really get to grow. And it's really helped me a lot, specifically in building business. Building business is hard. Developing and growing things that we're trying to accomplish and achieve is hard. But that's what hard feels like. Okay, it's not something that's wrong. Oftentimes it's like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is when I'm about to be at my best. It was really huge, just mindset shift that I felt when I talked with Dr. Nate Zinzer, and when he brought this up, I thought it was so powerful, and I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think could definitely help out a lot of people. All right, and the third and final one I'll dive into is from Dr. Amy Baker, and what she said is, our default state is healthy. So I'll say it again, our default state is healthy. This was a thinker for me. And we dove into more about it when I first listened to her on a mastermind call that I was a part of, and then had her on the podcast. And we were talking about this. And the narrative of our culture, specifically when it comes to our health, is always that something's wrong with us. We're sick, we're unwell, something's the matter with us. We need to go and fix what's going on. And what she said and what she stated is, rather than thinking that we need to find our health, we need to recognize that first, we are healthy. Our default state is actually to be a healthy person. And some things just get in our way. So I've talked about this numerous times before with people in different ways. Sifu Singh talked about the state of flow, and he said, flow is our natural state. We are in the way. When I talked with Adam Rodriguez about it, he talked about unveiling rather than creating. And then I heard this recently from Alex Hormozi, the creator of Gym Launch, where he recently said, it's better to work on why we're not doing the things versus what are the things to do. And so he said, we know what to do. It's often like, oh my God, I need to do this. I need to lose weight. I don't know how. It's like, yes, you do. You need to stop eating crap and you need to move more, but we need to focus on why we're not doing those things. And this has been a big focus I've written about a lot. I talk about a lot with my clients, is that focus of eliminating versus adding, about recovering before discovering. we focus so much on discovering what we need to add into our program, into our lives all the time, because we feel like we're lacking in something. If something's off or something's wrong, or we're not in the state that we want to be in, we feel like something's missing and we need to add in. When rather, more so in the cases, we're doing things that we shouldn't be doing, or we're getting in our own way, and we need to eliminate those. So it's more about eliminating the things that are preventing us from being where we want to be, rather than trying to add more stuff in because we feel like we're lacking. It's a very easy state to be in, of always thinking about point B, what can I add in, rather than actually looking inward of the things that are preventing us, because it's an uncomfortable state. Like looking inward and realizing that you maybe are self-sabotaging yourself more because you're in poor patterns or you're in poor habits. It's not that we're unhealthy. It's not that we're in a bad state, where our default state is to be, a healthy person. It's just that we're misaligned. Dr. Amy Baker is one of the most fun people to have on the podcast. She's really looked so deeply inward with what she states, what she does, and it was a blast to talk with her on this.